Most of you already know that we are conducting these webinars, especially in this COVID situation. We had more than 50 plus webinars in last 6 months on various topics, including, right, we had multiple webinars on stock related, on options, on crypto. We did different webinars on immigration related concepts and kids education, kids college savings. So some of our members from various investment groups and stocks groups approached me asking like, can as NRIs or as our citizens of US, can we invest in Indian market? And also there were few questions on, is it good time to invest in Indian market? Right? We most of us are doing some stock investments here, but because of restrictions on export from China or various other reasons, is it a good time to start looking at Indian stock market? So there were different queries which came to me, and I thought like it is better to get the subject matter experts in this area. So I requested Preeti Jain and also Manoj Jain from India. They have a huge experience in this area. They are helping hundreds of customers. So thanks Preeti and Manoj for taking time to share about share about why to invest in Indian markets, or what is the future looking like for Indian equity investments. And also, I know you are not only Indian equity investments. I know you are also supporting for a lot of other countries. So please share about why we should start looking at India, investing in India and also other countries, and what is the predictions, what do you think, like how the market is growing, and also what are the other areas where you can support NRIs and US citizens. uh, yeah, yeah, it's all yours, Preeti.
Hi everyone, welcome to our first webinar. So this is Preeti and I have with me Manoj here. Uh, we both of them will be presenting this webinar together. Before we proceed further, we'll just give you a brief intro about ourselves and our journey so far. I'm basically an investment banker, having worked in New York, Singapore, and Hong Kong with HSBC, Merrill Lynch, etc. And I've started this startup 2 years back. So I just moved to India temporarily for the startup. And Manoj is an electronics engineer by profession, and he has been investing in Indian equities for last 20 plus years. He's a NSE BSE certified sub broker and has his own financial advisory firm called Informatics Financial Services. He also has a franchisee of Motilal Oswal. Uh, okay. So we basically right now we are catering to domestic and global clients. We started with global clients only 2 years back. Before that, Manoj was only catering to the Indian residents. And we support both the Indian markets as well as global markets. And we are also in the process of getting our SEC registration for our firm. And I am registered with Interactive Brokers in Connecticut, USA, as a registered investment advisor. So we have multiple offerings. We have the Literacy Wealth, which is the financial advisory firm, and then we are also working on an EdTech app for investors for literacy, and also an investing app, Musings, and also we are working on an algo trading platform right now. So this will be in market in another 6 months. So currently we are only doing the wealth advisory, financial advisory. Okay. These are our offerings, the Musings, the Literacy Wealth, and the Literacy Systems. Literacy Systems is basically an algo trading platform, which we are working on it, and it will be in market in another 6 months. Right now, since we have gone global for last 2 years, we have clients globally in Asia, EMEA region, Americas, and Australia. Cover a lot of countries in that: the Taiwan, Vietnam, China, Japan, Belgium, Finland, France, Germany, US, Australia. So these are customers who have joined us in the last 1.5, 2 years. The products that we offer are the stocks, that is direct equity. Then we have the index funds, ETFs, mutual funds, PMS, debt funds, as well as bonds like the sovereign gold bonds, like in order to have a very diversified portfolio. And we offer this through Motilal Oswal. Motilal Oswal, as most of you might be knowing, is a well-known broker based out of Mumbai, India, and it was started around 30 years back by Motilal Oswal and Ramdev Agarwal. They are well-known investors in the Indian capital market. They have 10 million plus customers and are present in like 2,200 plus locations within India as well as abroad. Motilal Oswal, as such, they started it off as an institutional equities and brokering divisions, then diversified into investment banking, private equity, real estate, PMS, mutual funds, housing, finance, and commodities. So these are the various areas that currently Motilal Oswal serves. Okay, why Motilal Oswal? If you, in order to invest in Indian markets, you have to have a demat account. And currently in India, we have a lot of brokers. Like there are two kinds of brokers: the full service brokers and the discount brokers. In the full service brokers, we have ICICI, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank. These are like the 3-in-1. Like you can have your trading account, demat account, and the bank account with them. But the only problem with them is their brokerage charges are a little higher, but they are the most dependable brokers in India at the moment. And then we have something called as the discount brokers. Discount brokers are similar to what we have in US, the Robinhood. So among discount brokers, we have Zerodha, we have Upstock, Sharekhan. So these are different discount brokers. The brokerage is very less, almost nil in these brokerages. And in between the full service brokers and the discount brokers, we have some like Motilal Oswal, India Infoline, SMC Global. So these are they are very dependable, and their brokerage is not as high as the full service brokers, and the service is very their service is really good. So in order, if you want to go in for the middle part, that is why we prefer the like Motilal Oswal or India Infoline. And the philosophy that Motilal currently adopts is QGLP, that is the quality of the business, the growth, that is the growth in earnings and the sustained return on equity, the longevity, and the price. So these 4 factors they take into consideration before recommending you any of the stocks or PMS or any mutual funds. Okay, now why invest in Indian markets? Currently, India is on an aggressive growth path. We have our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He has come up with a lot of incentives wherein most of the companies, the MNCs, are ready to invest in Indian market. Last year during the budget, they reduced the corporate tax to 25%, which is very competitive compared to other nations. Then they have come up with the Atmanirbhar policy, wherein they have put import restrictions from East Asian countries, which are going to benefit the electronics industry, the agrochemical industries, the specialty chemicals. And then we have within the Atmanirbhar policy, we have the production-linked incentive schemes. So because of these schemes announced by Government of India, for the next 4-5 years, India is going to be on a growth path, and the companies that are going to benefit, the mid-cap, the small cap that are going to benefit, and it will give you returns. you can expect really good returns. The pharma sector has done really well because of these policies by Government of India. And if you look at how the Sensex has performed in the last 20, 30 years, even after the financial crisis, the Sensex was at 1,250. Then in 1999, the Cargill wallet was at 4,000. Then we had the 2008-2009 subprime crisis where the Sensex was 8,300. So the Sensex has been rising in spite of the crisis that we have seen. And this crisis is like a health crisis which has turned into an economic crisis, and it might turn into a financial crisis. Even so, this is like a once in a decade opportunity that you are getting to invest in the Indian markets. Okay, the different instruments you can invest is direct equities. Direct equities is a high risk, high return. You can see this graph here, how the direct equities has given a very high returns in comparison to cash, bank deposit, or gold. You can see a very exponential curve here actually. Okay, so these are the reforms that I was talking about, how the GST law, we have the bankruptcy law, we have the inflation targeting, direct benefit, RERA for the real estate sector, government have introduced RERA, then lowest tax rates on manufacturing. So these are the various structural reforms that Government of India has come up. So this is really a good opportunity for retail investors to capitalize on the reforms given by the Government of India. Okay. So the major reforms like inefficient real estate sector. So for that we have RERA, higher NPAs, we have the bank NPAs cleanup, then we have the insolvency bankruptcy court that has come up, lower tax compliance, for that we have GST, high leakage in subsidy, we have this DBT, that is the leakage preventions. So these are the major reforms that, some of the major reforms that Government of India has come up to attract investors. So how has the stock market performed after like if you look at the GDP growth rate in the 2002 to 2003, it was around 3.9%. And after, in the next 5 years, the stock return in the BSE small Sensex, you can see the 408% return. In the BSE mid cap, it is like 615%. Then it was in the small cap, we have the 840%. So these are like we have three in the tabular form from 2002 to 2003. Then from after the Asian crisis, the financial crisis of 2008-2009, how it has performed. Sensex gave 126% return, mid cap index was 135, then the small caps was around 112%. Then after 2012 and 2013, again we have the 75% and the 157% and the 186%. So after every major crisis, the Sensex has given us the return. Okay. Now, as far as the Motilal Oswal is concerned and what their product offerings are, they basically cater to the direct equity, mutual funds, PMS, fixed income, alternate assets, and insurance. For mutual funds, you have different types of mutual funds. We'll look at it in the later slides. Then for PMS, for mutual funds, any investor, any retail investor can invest in these mutual funds. There is no minimum or maximum ticket size in mutual funds. In PMS, the SEBI has mandated that you have to have a ticket size of 50 lakh Indian rupees. That is something around 100,000 USD. Then you have different fixed income instruments, that is the RBA floating rate, and then we have the capital gains bonds, then the sovereign gold bonds. So these are with various different fixed income instruments. Then we have the alternative investments funds and the insurance. So we'll look at all these product offerings in the next couple of slides. Okay, first, the PMS. PMS stands for Portfolio Management Services. And currently in India, we have a lot of PMSs that are operating, but the well-known PMS are the Ask India Entrepreneur Portfolio and the Ask India Vision Portfolio. So these two portfolios have been giving consistent returns for last many years, and it is one of the oldest PMS offered by Bharat Shah. He's a well-known investor in Indian markets, and this is a very like a consistent compounder story, I would say. Then we have something called as the Alchemy High Growth PMS. This is backed by Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. Again, he's a billionaire investor in Indian markets. Then we have two other PMS. Both these Ask and Alchemy are well-known PMS, and they have been in market like for last 10, 15 plus years. Then we have a comparatively new PMS, that is the Marcellus Kings of Capital and Marcellus Consistent Compounders. So these are this was started only 2 years back, but its CEO has worked in UK and was in Ambit Capital India. So this has also been giving around 15 to 17% return in the last 2-3 years. So these are like a couple of known PMSs that Motilal Oswal also offers. Then we have mutual funds. So in mutual funds, there are a couple of well-known mutual funds in India, and they can be categorized into the international passive funds, the domestic passive funds, the equity funds, ELSS, that is equity-linked saving schemes, then the hybrid funds, arbitrage funds, dynamic asset allocation funds, and the debt funds. For the international passive funds, like there are some, Motilal Oswal has a Nasdaq fund that invests in the Nasdaq securities, and it has given more than 25% return since last Diwali. And in fact, after the March mayhem, it has recovered all the losses and is giving handsome profits, actually. So we have that is offered by Motilal Oswal. Then we have something from other companies also, and then like some of the known equity firms are Axis Small Cap Fund, then the Canara Robeco Mutual Funds, then the Mirare Asset Funds. So these are like depending upon your risk profile, investment horizon, we can select the mutual fund suited to you, and then we can recommend those funds for you. In the fixed income category, you have the RBI floating rate savings bonds, which is taxable and gives you around 7.15 interest rates. Then we have other corporate fixed deposits, the capital gain bonds, and then we also have this something called as the sovereign gold bonds. So that is also there. Insurance, again, I don't know, but there are a couple of insurance which are being offered for the term protection, income protection, child education and marriage, retirement planning. So these are the various categories of the insurance that are being offered by Motilal Oswal. Okay, so the major top companies in India, we have like not much change from 2005, like little bit. ONGC, Reliance, TCS, Infosys, Wipro, and then in BPC 2019 we have Reliance, TCS. These are common. Then again HDFC Bank, HDFC. So if you look at the Reliance Industries, with the way they have the private equity and all the international funds that has been infusing funds into Reliance, we are very bullish on Reliance right now, and it can be a multi-bagger in the next 3-4 years. then again HDFC Bank, and then you have other mid cap. Then we look at. So these are a couple of the large cap and the mid cap ideas that we have. In the banking sector, ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, then the cement is Ultratech, HUL, Reliance, Bajaj Finance, Asian Paints. Asian Paints is going to benefit a lot from the specialty chemical sector because of the China ban. And another couple of mid caps like FMCG is one sector that is going to benefit in the next 2-3 years. So we have the Tata Global, the Colgate here. So these are then insurance in another one that is going to be a major player in the years to come, the HDFC Life, ICICI Prudential. So these are a couple of sectors and stocks that are going to benefit in the years to come. Okay, so now we are kind of concluding our webinar. We have this. We'll open it for the question and answer now.
If anyone has any questions, feel free to either you can enter in the chat window or you can basically use the raise hand option and I can unmute you and you can ask any questions related to India or global investments. I see Pranav has a question.
So,
how to open a Demat account from here for NRIs?
Okay, in order to open a Demat account, you have to have an NRE NRO bank account. And for NRE NRO, there are two kinds of Demat accounts in India. One is the NRE Demat and one is the NRO Demat. And in order to open, you have to have an NRE NRO bank account. And most of the brokerages in India, they only work with 3 banks for the NRI Demat. One is the HDFC Bank, the Axis Bank, and the Yes Bank. So we always suggest our clients to have it with either HDFC Bank or with the Axis Bank. But the problem is with HDFC Bank, like if you open with HDFC Bank, they insist you on having a PIS bank account. So the PIS bank account, it has an annual maintenance charge of 1,000 rupees. And for every trade, they will charge you 100 for buy and 100 for sell. So for every trade, like 200 rupees, they charge you. So, I have recommended to my clients to open the NRE NRO bank account with Axis Bank. Axis Bank doesn't insist on having a PIS account. So, and the difference between NRE and NRO Demat account is NRE Demat is tax free, but you can repatriate that money anytime. An NRO account, whatever income that you earn in India, that is taxable, and you can repatriate you cannot repatriate, but you can repatriate if you get it certified by a CA. Like you need to fill in the 15 CA and CB form, and then you can repatriate that money. But the problem with NRE Demat is it is little the expenses are little high. Because there are certain RBI reporting charges and all those charges are higher. So we recommend our clients to open the NRO Demat.
Okay, the next question is, how does one open a Demat account for trading with USD funding with Motilal Oswal? Again.
Okay, so you do not want to convert your USD to Indian rupees?
Yeah.
Okay, that will, for that we are working on having an offshore fund. We once we get ourselves SEC registered, then we can maybe that would take at least a month or 2. Once we get our SEC registration, then we can work on that. We can do that. A month or 2, we will have to work on that. Currently, what our NRI clients are doing, like they open a bank account in India and then that is how they transfer some money and then they start trading.
Can NRIs invest in the gold bond investments in India?
What I have suggested is if you have your family members in India, like either parents or siblings, then you can buy those gold bonds in their name. Last 4 months they were issuing these gold bonds every month actually. So what my NRI clients are doing is through.
Okay. Next question, let me unmute VK Rao. VK Garu, ask your question. You can unmute and yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Durgara. What will be the minimum amount in PMS?
As SABI has mandated 50 lakhs.
Oh, 50 lakhs. That is the for opening a PMI account?
PMS, yes, for opening a PMS, Portfolio Management Services. Indian rupees. In 50 lakhs Indian rupees, yes. 50 lakhs Indian rupees.
Okay.
They changed this only a few months back, actually, in January and February. Before that, it was 25 lakhs.
Yeah, that's what. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Next question, Omna Swargam. You can unmute and you can ask your question.
Hey, this is Shri. Basically, I was wondering about the tax implications. So you open these accounts and you trade and you invest and everything. On the tax side in US, like what reporting we have to collect from those Indian banks, and what kind of reports we have to submit for the tax purposes. Is it FATCA or is it other things, right?
Yeah, it would be FATCA, and I can get you all the details, like a detailed write-up on this. What all documents you require. I can forward it to Kishore, and then we can go from there. The detailed, we can send you all the details on that.
Okay. I have another question if I can ask.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I was just wondering about this. I was late in the game, sorry. But I was just wondering about, you mentioned PIS bank account. What is that PIS and what is PLS?
PLS.
PLS,
PIS, it is they have, that is some, PMS, are you talking about PMS and PIS or?
Both, yeah, sorry.
Oh, PMS is a kind of like a product which SABI offers. Like SABI, there are PMS is Portfolio Management Services.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Portfolio Management Services. So for that, you have to have 50 lakhs. And PIS bank account, these are requirements by banks like HDFC, ICICI Bank. These are requirements because, they have to do this tax reporting. For tax reporting, HDFC insists on having a PIS bank account. But with Axis Bank gives you a waiver.
Right, but I mean, by opening the PIS account or not opening the PIS account, will we have any tax implications, on our end? If, we will go with the Axis Bank because they are giving the waiver, but then will it, revert back to us with more reporting?
Right now, I think it was in the news just a week back that you do not have to do the trade-by-trade reporting for taxation purposes. This was only like a week back. This has come as a news. So let me see whether let me speak with the CA, and can I get back to you on this? Because just a week back, if you don't have to report on every trade transactions, then probably it won't have much effect on tax.
Okay. And I was just also wondering about the, the day trading within the day. Like, can you trade within the day?
No, it is intraday is not allowed for NRIs.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, thank you, Sri. Next, Mr. Jay, you can unmute and ask a question.
Okay, thanks for letting me know. So I have a couple of questions. Most of them are raised by the one other gentleman talked sometime before. The one question which I still have in my mind is which financial instruments that NRS allowed. The one which you answered recently was the day trading is not allowed. So what other items that NRIs will not be allowed to do in the financial instruments? And the other thing is, like you said, the NRE account holders, if they do trading, you don't have to pay the tax. So what will be the tax implication from the US side, and do we need to file anything like FEDCA or something that we were talking about? So those are the two questions I have. Thank you.
Okay, so the first question, only day trading is not allowed. You can do direct equity, you can invest in bonds, you can invest in mutual funds, PMS, futures and options, you can do that. So only the day trading is not allowed for NRIs. And coming to your next question on taxation, if you have the NRE bank account, I'll just check on the FATCA thing, like from my CA, I'll just tax on the taxation perspective, and I'll send you the detailed note on that. Otherwise, whatever you if you have an NRE bank account in India, and whatever you are doing with that, that is only necessary. Like maybe if you're filing taxes in your home country, probably that should be sufficient. But on the FATCA, I'll have to check and I'll come back to you on that.
Okay. As such, I don't have any account open. So what happened was I recently opened the NRE account with ICICI, and I don't have the NRO account. So what they said is like you might have to open an NRO account in order to do the trading. With NRE account, you can do the trading, or they have some kind of different complexities involved in that. So they asked me to open an NRO account. So I was holding on that part because it kind of different inputs are required for that. So I kept on hold on that part. And I know I don't file tax for past 2-3 years in India because I don't have the source of income over there. So I don't do that. But probably now currently with the new changes that I might have to do that, but I really don't know whether I have to start doing it after having this trading link to the NRE account. So those are the basic questions. Yeah, you can send me out that info related to that. That will help. Thank you.
I'll send you the details on FATCA, like the tax implications and the details on FATCA. I'll just send it to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Raj, you can unmute and ask your question. Rajesh.
Thanks, Kishore. My question is in continuation with the Jay's question. So I believe US government is asking for wherever worldwide you have income that you have to report. So what kind of implications it can cause, like dual taxation, or we should not be in the situation that rather than getting some benefit, we are inviting more trouble. So can you please put some light on this?
Yeah, I think India has a double taxation treaty with US, right? They have this double taxation treaty. So I'll just come back on the taxation part. Let me get the more details from CA on that. How is it? What are the latest regulations on that? Then I'll let you know.
Okay. Another question I have, like the moment you open NRE, NRO account, you should not have any other account. Is that valid or it's
Like,
wrong information?
I didn't get you. NRE, NRO.
Indian government says that if you are an NRI, you should not earn any kind of other income, like your saving account or something, whatever you have invested earlier. So what we have to do for that?
Whatever you, I'm sorry, I like whatever you have invested, like what you already have investments in India right now?
Yeah, before becoming an NRI, if someone has something invested, so including Demat account also. So what to do with that? Can it be closed or
So
what you?
once your status changes, then you are like, if you're once your status changes, then you become an NRE or like NRI, then you have to file taxes according to the bank account that you have. If you're generating income in India and you have an NRO Demat account, then you have to file taxes.
Mm-hmm. Now, what I did, I stopped all my earning in India because I was not sure what to do over here. So if you can clarify, then only you can initiate again. Till that, I was doing everything.
Okay, so the change of status, like what happens in the change of status, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Next question, Mr. Ravi.
Okay.
Yeah, hi. I think last person, Raj, maybe he has the same question. So I recently moved from India to US. I still hold the Demat and the normal bank accounts in India. So is it mandatory to convert them to NRE, NRO now, or can I just continue investing?
I would say convert it because it is mandatory. FATCA rules too.
Okay. So is there any time frame that I can, I need to convert, or is it like immediately we need to convert?
6 months. 6 months.
6 months from the time I move from. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, we have Manoj also. He wants to also brief you. He also has to brief you something.
Sure, Manoj. Yeah, Manoj.
Okay, so Manoj, actually, he has his own financial advisory firm. So, and I have collaborated with him, and he's a certified NSE BSc sub-broker and also a franchisee of Motilal Oswal. So, he just have few points to.
Yeah, please go ahead, Manoj.
Hello, viewers. Good morning in USA. Good evening in India. So Preeti has clarified a few things, basic things. And in Indian equities, if people are interested, they can start with. And definitely you will have questions like why people should invest in India and not in USA. So basically, US markets, when they are staying there, definitely they can invest there. But since India is a growing economy and the next 5 to 10 years will be really exponential growth will be there in India. The global situation is like after the COVID thing, many industries will be shifting from China to India and other countries. And Indian government has a very good rapport with all US corporates and European companies also. They have a very good rapport with European government and US government. So the growth in India is expected exponentially. And there are many good Indian companies, right from public sector to private sector. And my journey started in 1992 from the Harshad Mehta scam. After my engineering, I started to analyze the new IPOs, and that time the IPOs used to come in 10 Indian rupees per share, not like nowadays 200, 300 Indian rupees. And we used to analyze with the prospectors whether this company is good, that company is good, And after analyzing 20-25 companies, maybe 15-20 will rise, maybe 4-5 won't give any results. So that way the journey started, and it's nearly 20-25 years I have been investing in Indian equities. And since 4-5 years, we have started research-based advisory on equities for domestic clients, and even international clients also we are having a few. And now we are, for NRI clients like USA or other European countries, we are interested, they can join us. And there are many different products in India. As BT has clarified, you can directly invest in equities after opening a demat account. You can invest in mutual funds. You can invest in PMS, that is portfolio management service. PMS is like the portfolio manager will manage your money. And the basic minimum requirement as per SEBI guidelines, it has been increased from 25 lakh Indian rupees to 50 lakh Indian rupees. So you have to just give lump sum. They will charge some fee on that, maybe 1 or 2% annually, and they will give you returns. And that will be according to the market only. But it all depends on the portfolio manager, how he invests your money. He may be investing in 50, 20 different companies, and the returns you will get maybe 10%, maybe 15%. It all depends on the portfolio manager. Next comes the mutual fund. Mutual fund, there is no limit. You can start with small 5,000 Indian rupees, and you can invest up till 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 10 lakhs, 10 million, whatever you want. And there also the portfolio fund managers are mutual fund managers, and they will take care of your money, and NAV will be there, and on that you will get the returns. You can generally after 1 year you can withdraw also. But generally the time horizon should be around 5 to 7 years in mutual fund. Even for PMS it is 2 to 3 years. And you can withdraw your money also. Generally people do SIP, that is systematic investment planning. But my suggestion is you can do some SIP, but whenever the market, because see, anything if you buy, you see the quality and the price. So in mutual fund also, my suggestion is that when the market is down, everybody is in fear, and you have a thinking that it will go up, then that is the best time. You should go for a lump sum investment, because that money will grow faster. And SIP you can continue, no problem. These are the two products. Then the main is the direct equity. Means you can directly invest in equities after opening a demat account. You can start with anything. You can start with 50,000 Indian rupees, increase to 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 10 million, whatever you want. And in Indian equities, the thing is how you will select the companies. That is the main thing. And there our role comes, the Informatic Financial Services. We will guide you. It's like mutual fund only. We will guide you which script you should buy, because there are different types of scripts. There are nearly 5,000 companies in Indian equity market, small and big all. So which company you should buy, that is the main thing. And at what price you should buy, that is also important. So suppose there are large cap companies, mid cap and small cap. And our suggestion is that the portfolio should be mixed. Means you should have around 30 to 35, 40% large cap, 30, 35% mid cap, and 20 to 30% small cap. And you should also have in debt, because the mutual fund structure also works like that only. Because some safety should be there in debt also. Means suppose you have investable funds of around 10 million rupees. So we will definitely suggest you should have 25% of your portfolio in debt. However less the amount is, but you should have in some debt funds. That is the safe from safety point. And then you can have in equities, because as the age increases, the thumb rule is that you should not have more than, suppose your age is say 50, you should not have more than 50% in equities. Suppose your age is 75, you should not have more than 25% in equities. That is the thumb rule. So that way, how you will select the companies, that we will guide you, and which companies, and we have a thorough research how we do after taking 5 to 10 parameters. We filter those parameters. Basic thing is we study their profit and loss account, their balance sheet, their revenue, their dividend paying track record for 5 years, the promoter's background, how much is the net profit, what are the product demand in domestic in India, and globally, what is the demand of that product. So we have nearly 10 parameters. The company is first filtered through those parameters and then it is recommended. So that way, if you get a selection of good companies, definitely your portfolio will rise 15 to 20% compounded annual growth, CAGR. Means suppose you invest for 5 years, and there is a two-way strategy. You can have positional investment, maybe for 4, 5 months, 7 months, but you may not be taking out the money, but churning will be there. After 5, 7 months, 2, 3 months, whenever you have a profit of 10, 12% in a company, you can exit. And again, if you get a chance at lower rate, again, we can enter. Unless it is a very good company, we won't recommend you to exit. Like companies like Infosys, TCS, Reliance, L&T, these are some blue chip Indian companies. They have a very good promoter's background. Their financials are very strong and they have given dividend and returns continuously since 5-10 years. So these companies we may not exit, but the valuations are also important. Like Reliance is a very good company, but the current price 2200, whether it is worth buying or not, or 1600, 1800 if we get, because if we buy Reliance at 22, 2300, we should see the scenario after 5 years, whether that stock will be 10,000, 8,000, how much it will be, 5,000. That is the main thing, how you will get the returns. Similar is with Infosys. Now it is around 1,000 rupees. So whether in 5 years it will be 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, that all depends. Or if it goes up to only 1,500, then your returns are not good, though the company is very good. It is giving dividend of around, I think, 60 rupees something annually it is given dividend. So it's around 5-6% dividend you get in these companies. So that way, you should have a balanced portfolio of large cap, mid cap, and small cap. Then you can expect a return of around 15 to 20%, 15% for long term, and for positional trade, you can expect 15-20%. So annually 15% return, between 15-20% return you can get. So basically these are the things. And for NRI, I can see that many questions were there on taxation part, and even FATCA rules, there were many questions. And for all NRIs, it is must that you should have a NRI account. Otherwise, because people, when they were in India, they can open a normal domestic account. But the moment they shift, they have to report within 6 months that we are now NRI and we should have an NRI account. Those are FATCA rules. And for NRI taxation part, definitely some chartered accountant has to be hired. He will guide you the nitty-gritties. Though basically dual taxation is not there. Either you will be taxed in India or in USA. Because generally it is in the parent country where you are, suppose you are staying now in USA, you will be charged there only. So that way, otherwise the nitty-gritties of taxation, a chartered accountant will be the best person to answer the queries. So I hope we can start with the Q&A on the queries, which whatever I have briefed you. If you have any queries, please go ahead.
Is it possible to open DMAT account from USA? What are the prerequisites? Is it possible to open DMAT on F1 visa?
Yes, you can. Only the requirements are to have an NRE, NRO bank account in India, and that too with HDFC or Axis. But I would say go with Axis because HDFC insists on having a PIS account. So if anybody who is out of India and whose status is an NRI can open a DMAT account.
Yeah, one more thing I would like to add you. as on date in India, we are opening the demat accounts online. Only the power of attorney, we just send it 2-3 page and they have to sign it, because you have to give a power of attorney to the broker, because after selling your shares, those have to be transferred. But nowadays it has been doing through EDIS, that is electronically delivery instruction slip. But in for outstation clients like NRI clients in USA or Europe and other countries, online facility as on date is not there. Either we will be sending it through mail, through physical mail or courier, or a scanned copies, because as on date the SABI hasn't opened online, because many documents are needed, because in India we open the account through Aadhaar, but for NRI clients Aadhaar is not valid, because when they are NRI they should the passport and all those documents are required. So that Motilal Oswal will take care, and they have their courier facilities and representative in USA also, and they will help you out. We will send the form to you, and you can just fill it. We will guide you where you have to fill it, and a scanned copy and a physical copy, you just have to courier back, and your account will be opened. And once the account is opened, your bank is already linked with it, and then you can directly trade. Then there is no problem. And once the power of attorney is also given, then no DIS or something you have to do. Though initially, as long as the power of attorney is not signed, the EDIS, that is electronically delivery instruction slip, has to be done. And everything the broker will take care. You can transfer the money to the broker's demat account, and you can take back the money from the demat. These are all online facilities through the app. You can do then the trading, you can do in 2-3 ways. You can do through laptop, mobile apps are also there. Through communication also you can do, but from USA I don't know whether WhatsApp calls are not allowed. So only for domestic they can do direct calling facility, call and trade also. So 3-way trading facilities are available. Please go ahead.
Okay, so all those who are interested in opening a demat account, just send it to Kishore, and I have a drafted email with all the documents that are required, and then I can send that email to Kishore and he can forward it.
Yeah. Is there a way to take tax advantage by using proceeds of selling property in India and investing in long-term funds?
Well, capital gains, property, whether it can be invested in equities, that we have to check with the chartered accountant. But from property to property is allowed. From equity to equity is also allowed. But from property to equity, we have to check with the chartered accountant. Because in capital gain, if you sell a property, the capital gain has to be either invested in some bonds like REC capital gain bonds or something, then you can save the capital gains. Otherwise, you have to buy a property within 1 year. But from property to equity, that we have to check with the chartered accountant only. He will be the best person to guide you.
Yeah, I agree. So how things are different between US citizens and non-US citizens for investments in India? Right, there are, because some of our members are already US citizens, maybe 20-25% are US citizens, remaining 75% are still on H1Bs or H4s, F1s.
Yeah, do you have PI or the PIO card? Because I have had 2-3 clients who are born and brought up in US and Portugal and European countries. I have had clients who are like, they visited India twice or thrice. I have dealt with those clients. So they applied for the PIO, that is the person of Indian origin card. Do you have that card with you?
Yeah, most of them got Aadhaar card or OCIs.
Yeah, so if you have that, then we go ahead with the demat.
So there is no other difference for US citizens, or are there any other restrictions that US citizens cannot do certain things?
No. There are not much of a difference. Except only in the documentation there is a difference.
Okay. So Jay, you are unmuted. Do you have any other questions, Jay?
Yeah, I'm sorry I left that question. I parked it. I'm more looking for the PIS account that you're talking about. What is the significance of that? While you have trading account, demat account, your NRE account, and what does it have play significance on this PIS? And that's one question.
Yeah.
And second question, I'm sorry. The second question is more related to if I already have an NRE account, can I link that to the demat account, which I'm probably opening it once I get all the, if I'm going to open a demat account, can I link that NRE account to the demat account? That's my second question. Thank you.
Yeah. Only HDFC Bank, for HDFC banks insist on PIS account because it helps them in the tax calculation actually. So that is the only for tax calculation they are insisting on the PIS account. But and I would, you can link your NRE bank account to your demat account, but I would not suggest you to open the NRE demat because the NRE demat is like it is bit expensive than NRO demat. You have the RBI reporting charges, and also I will not suggest you to open a PIS bank account because if any bank you open a PIS account, they will deduct 100 for buy and 100 for sell. That is 200 rupees per trade on every transaction. So that's a bit expensive for me. Actually, I would say that's a bit expensive. Doesn't really make sense when you can do it without PIS. So PIS is only for tax calculations. Actually, that is the only significance.
Okay. I see VK got some other questions. VK Rao Garu, you are unmuted.
What will be the, thank you, sir. What will be the minimum amount that I can put in mutual funds? I have NRI funds in India, about 10 lakhs.
Well, for mutual funds, there is no limit as such. Only the limit is for PMS, that is Portfolio Management Service. The limit is 50 lakhs Indian rupees.
Okay.
But for mutual fund, as long as our knowledge goes, there is no limit, basic minimum limit. You can start with 5,000 Indian rupees.
Thank you. What will be the lock-in period if I invest as an NRI into mutual funds?
Lock-in period is like 1 year generally, otherwise exit load will be there. But after that, the exit load is very minimum. And in some specific funds like ETF funds or like that, there may be lock-in of 3 years. Otherwise, generally, after 1 year, you can sell the mutual funds.
Okay.
So I just want to add on to it. Whenever you invest in mutual funds, if you really want to have a return, then you should always invest for 3 to return in mutual fund in 1 year or 2 years. So you should have a medium to long term horizon for mutual funds. I just want to add on one. Somebody had asked on the sovereign gold bonds, like whether NRIs can invest. So the sovereign, as I said, that you can buy it in your immediate family member's name, or we have a couple of gold ETFs available in India and gold mutual funds available in India. So if you want to invest in gold, then you have the option of ETFs and gold funds also.
Okay, thank you. So how I can invest in mutual funds? What is the method? Do I need to open an account with Oswald?
Yes. You have to have a demat account, and then directly you can invest in different mutual funds, because there are nearly 40-50 mutual funds in India, and every mutual fund company will have another 30-40 schemes. There may be multi-cap fund, there may be large cap fund, there may be debt fund, there may be small cap fund. So you have to choose first the company, maybe Kotak Mahindra mutual fund or ICICI mutual fund or HDFC mutual fund. And then you have to select the particular product which you want, whether you want a large cap mutual fund, mid cap, or a multi cap fund. generally we suggest it should be multi-cap, because then your portfolio will be 30-40% in large cap, 20-30% in mid cap, 20-25% in small cap, maybe 10-20% in debt also. So your portfolio will be bit secure, bit diversified, and safety.
Thank you. Will you be able to guide on that? Can I reach out to you?
Yes, yes, surely, surely. We are always there to help you out, either in direct equities or in mutual fund or insurance also.
You know, there are two types of mutual funds. One is the direct plan and the regular group plan. So we can like if you can reach, like we can have a one-on-one conversation on that, because this is a big topic, and very well-known mutual funds in India right now that are like Canara Robeco, Mirare Asset, Axis Small Cap Fund. So these are some of the Axis Bank has really good mutual funds actually that has given, and you know, we can give you a comparative analysis of all the mutual funds as well as for PMS. Like it is not possible for us to put it in a slide, but when we have a one-on-one conversation, then we can show you a comparative analysis of the different mutual funds.
Thank you. Very kind of you. Thank you.
Like, you know, there is a PSU growth fund, PSU banking growth fund from Axis Bank, which is again another good mutual fund. So there are a couple of mutual funds, and you know, these investing in mutual funds is depending upon your risk appetite, on your investment horizon. So we have to take into different considerations before we can recommend you the mutual funds.
Next question, can we invest in bonds and debentures with NRO demat account?
Yes. Yes. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can in Indian bonds, but then you can go for the debt fund also. Because in debt fund, it will be diversified, government bonds will be there, other public sector bonds will be there.
Mm-hmm. And can I open demat using ICICI, NRE or NRO, or it should be only NRO?
See, like if you have an ICICI bank account, you know, then you will have to open the NRE or NRO demat with ICICI, because ICICI does not work with any of the brokerages in India. As far as I know, I might be wrong, but the brokerages that I have dealt with, the Motilal Oswal, Zerodha, SMC Global, for NRE, they don't. SMC Global, you know, they do an exception for ICICI Bank, but only for NRO demat, not for NRE demat. If you go with SMC Global, and if you have a bank account with ICICI, then they will open a NRO demat for you, not the NRE demat. NRO demat they will open.
Okay.
But doesn't open the NRO demat, and neither Zerodha, or they will not open if you have an ICICI, because most of these brokerages, they only work with HDFC, Axis and Yes Bank. I might be wrong, but this is my information, the brokerages that I have dealt with.
Okay. Are there any Indian government or private corporate bonds that can be invested with USD by an individual investor?
Yes, private bonds are there, but we won't suggest private company bonds as on date, because we have a very bad experience since last 3-4 years, because many private Indian companies have defaulted. For example, Unitech, JP Associate and Infra, then Diwan Housing is a big scam, nearly 50,000 crore is blocked. So we won't suggest private corporate bonds. People should invest in private corporate bonds. Only Government of India bonds you should invest, because if there is some problem, your money will be stuck, your principal will be stuck.
There is a very, like I said, the RBI savings bond here I mentioned. I'll just go that. That offers like 7.5% interest rate. That's a very safe bond actually. This one, the RBI 7.15 floating rate savings bond.
But I have to check whether NRIs will get the same rate of interest, because in fixed deposits in bank, NRE rates are different because they don't get the same rate as domestic citizens get. But nowadays, even domestic citizens are not getting anything in India. Hardly 5.5 to 6% bank rates have fallen.
Yeah.
So these RBI bonds 7.15, I have to check whether NRIs will get the same rate or not.
Okay. And what is the time frame it takes to open NRO demat account? If some of our members are interested.
If you send us the document, it can be done in 15 to 20 days maximum. Like I would say 2 weeks to 2 weeks, because sometimes there is some delay or something. So I don't want to say 1 week, but 2 weeks it can be done.
Basically, see, as on date, on online opening is only facilities there only for domestic Indians, and that is linked through Aadhaar card. For NRIs, we are requesting SABI that the online facility should be opened, but as on date they haven't opened. So we have to send you the physical form to USA or wherever it is, in whichever country. So you can understand the time to travel, time taken to send by post or courier. It will be 1 week minimum, and again to come back. So 15-20 days is minimum time we should expect. We may open through some scanned facility. When you fill the form, you can send the scanned copy, and the broker will take a call on that, Motilal Oswal, that whether they can start the facility. Then it will be faster, 10 days can be saved. The coming back of the form, that time can be saved.
Also, I just want to add one thing, as I mentioned to you, like we are with the Interactive Brokers. So Interactive Brokers is a Connecticut-based brokerage, a very well-known broker in US, and it lets you invest in all the markets, like 35 plus countries. Like this is one only broker that lets you invest in all the markets. So they have an office in India, but they let for NRIs they only let you open a trading account. That is, you can only use the futures and options, not for the direct equity. So if you want to trade in futures and options, and if you have a Interactive Brokers account, then you can open an India account through Interactive Brokers. They do have an office in India also.
Let's end with the last two questions. Shri, you are unmuted.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, sure. So I have first question is basically the Aadhaar card, PAN card. Is it needed to open Demat account and invest for NRI as well as for citizen?
For NRIs, you need Aadhaar and PAN.
I will just clarify. Aadhaar may not be necessary for NRIs, but PAN card is necessary because how you are opening the account, whether it is NRO or NRE, because the main documents for NREs will be passport and your US address, visa, everything will be there. So Aadhaar is not mandatory, but PAN card is mandatory, because if you are opening an NRO account, then income will be in India. You may be taxable in India. Otherwise, if you are an NRE, then it may not be. Then it is only for US taxation. So PAN card is must, but not Aadhaar. And we'll let you know if you have any document specific.
No, even PAN card, even without PAN card also, you can open NRO account.
NRO Demat?
No, I'm talking about NRO first, because I'm just clarifying what he said. Basically, NRO account needs PAN card. That's what Manoj was saying, right?
Yeah.
You don't need PAN card for NRO account also. Probably for investments, what you're saying is right, that you need PAN card. That's what I wanted to clarify. And how about for citizens?
You would need the PIO card, the OCI or the PIO card. Like as I said, I'll send the email to Kishore with all the documents required. I have the draft email with me. I'll send the with all the documents, both for U.S. citizens and non-U.S. citizens.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a bit confused about your relationship with, Savvy and Interactive Brokers. I'm a little confused. Like you said, Savvy also. You said Interactive Brokers. Can you clarify that link between you guys and those firms?
Okay.
Yeah, see, for Motilal Oswal and all Indian equities, SEBI is the controlling authority. That is the Security Exchange Board of India.
Oh,
That
okay. Oh, you said SEBI. Okay, okay. Yeah, I was
yeah,
thinking about Savvy. There is
no, no,
another
no.
app.
The Security
Okay.
Exchange Board of India. That is the
Uh,
controlling authority for all Indian equities.
okay,
So
okay. Yeah, I got it. Got it.
whatever rules are there, they are framed by SEBI only. Right now, the margins have been increased. Now, for buying and selling equities, 20% margin is mandatory. Without that, people cannot trade. So that
Okay.
law, everything has been brought by SEBI only.
Okay.
And
So, what is your you guys work for Motilal Oswal?
yes, yes, we
Oh,
are a sub-broker of Motilal Oswal and Informatic Financial Services. That is registered as NSE and BSE for equity, currency, and commodity. We are registered with that, and we are a sub-broker of NSE and BSE.
So
okay. So, what is the relationship with Interactive Brokers, the US firm?
okay, so I have collaborated with Informatics Financial Services. So my company Beatrice is well, and I am a registered investment advisor with Interactive Brokers.
Okay.
And we are getting the registration. So we have the global investing also. Today's webinar we are focusing on Indian investing, but we will be having another webinar for global investing next week. So for global investing, we have it with Interactive Brokers. Like we have for opening the demat account for global markets, we have tie up with Interactive Brokers.
Because
Okay.
as far as my knowledge
Global, when
goes,
you said global investing with the Interactive Brokers, I mean, a US person in US can open Interactive Brokers account himself, right, and invest in it from US dollars. Why they have to go through demat account for the global investments other than India?
Only if you need financial advisory. If you need financial
Okay.
advisory, then
No.
you can link your account with us. Then we can. Otherwise, you can if you want to do it, you can do it on your own. There's no compulsion.
Got it. Yeah, no. Just clarifying, that's all. And then on the returns on the investment, right? Basically, in US, there are some ETFs that track the Indian market. I don't remember offhand, but I have looked at their, returns over the years, and they are very less compared to S&P 500. They are like 7 to 8%, something like that. I mean, why is that? Like, are they not tracking the Indian market well? Or, is the same situation in India ETFs also, like in India?
So for ETFs, it depends on the kind of companies that they choose. I'll give you an example in Indian markets. Like this year, now after March, mid cap and small caps are doing really well. And because of the policies announced by Government of India, the Atmanirbhar policy and the PLI scheme, that is the Production Linked Incentive Scheme. Because of these policies, some of the mid caps and small caps in India are doing really well. I'll just give you an example. There is a company called Dixon Technology. So we recommended this in last December, and it has given us return almost of 150 to 200% in last 10 to 11 months. And why? Because this Dixon Technology is into the electronics industry. So because of the ban of the imports from East Asia, this company has benefited a lot. So it depends upon the composition of the ETF. So there are even in Indian markets, you don't get or not all the ETFs or not all the mutual funds and PMS give you that kind of return.
Yeah, I was just talking about the overall Indian market tracking ETFs.
Yeah, I will just clarify. See, the Indian markets from 2012-13 up till 2017, there was a very good growth. So 5 years were very good for Indian equity markets, and mutual funds gave an average CAGR of 12% returns. So
I'm only, yeah, I know mutual funds gave good returns. I see that, but I'm just talking about the ETFs.
yes. But that was only up till 2017-18. Since 2 years, even the mutual funds are not giving returns because the market is not good. But similarly with equity ETFs, because they invest in diversified maybe sectors, that's why they may not be giving good returns. Otherwise, since last 2 years, the returns are not good. But maybe before that, the returns were good.
Okay, so out of these, different kinds of DMAT, service providers, who is charging less, DMAT charges?
As I mentioned to you that we have the full service brokers and discount brokers in India. So among the discount brokers, you have Zerodha, you have Upstock, you have Sharekhan. Then now we have the entry of Paytm also. So these are like 3-4 discount brokers. So discount brokers are something like Robinhood in USA. So I prefer. My preference is to go in for a well-known broker that doesn't like. If somebody asks me in USA whether you want to open with TD Ameritrade, Interactive Brokers, or Robinhood, I will go with TD Ameritrade or Interactive Brokers. Similarly, in India, if someone asks me for a Zerodha or an Upstock or Motilal Oswal, I'll go with Motilal Oswal or SMC Global. Because with Zerodha, in the last 1 year, 1.5 years, I have heard like 6 to 7 times the servers were down, and the clients could not square off the positions. And this happened with Robinhood also in March. So it is your preference. TD Ameritrade, Interactive Brokers, Fidelity, these are well-known brokers in US.
So out of full service brokers, which one charges less DMAT charges?
It's across, it's the same actually. ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, Axis, the charges are almost the same.
Yeah, I will add a few points in this. Generally, Motilal Oswal, we charge around 0.4 paisa and 40 paisa for domestic clients. That means it is point means on a 1 lakh trade, you will be charged hardly 40 rupees for intraday. But when NRIs cannot do intraday, for delivery based, for 1 lakh rupees, Indian rupees, if you do buying or selling, you will be charged around 400 rupees.
400 rupees.
Yeah. Maybe some brokers maybe give you less charges, but for NRIs it may be 500 rupees. But some broker may give you less charges, but the server is the most important thing. The broker should have a very good server, and on that front, Motilal Oswal is really good. You will have one of the best servers. Only 3-4 companies are giving good servers. Because see, if the client increases and there is a breakdown in the server and you cannot do the trade, then there is no use of the broker. So that is the most important thing. Zerodha sometimes charges very less, but they have a history of 2-3 times breakdown in their servers. So we won't recommend very less brokerage. You should go for less brokerage broker, because you should see what is their history of servers. If the server is really good, that is really good. That broker only should get. And in that comparison, Motilal Oswal is really good, and you will get some advice from Motilal also. And the facilities are really good. You can see their software, their Orient Light software is really good. Through app also you can do. MO Investor and MO Trader is there. So that way, server is the most important thing.
Oh, okay. How about Money Control? Is it not a full service one?
They are not brokers. They are basically an investing app. Like they only provide you all the info on,
okay.
like it's like investing.com. Like for global markets, we have investing.com, right? Just the app which provides you. So you cannot, like they are
Yeah.
not brokers as such.
With Motilal Oswal, you can compare S&P Global, India Infoline, maybe
Uh,
Angel Broking. These 4 5 brokers you can compare.
okay. Okay. Yeah. In US recently, as you can see, like in 2020, especially, all the, these brokerage firms, they have started, $0 trading fee, right? So did that kind of culture or similar features, are the Indian companies are embracing that?
Some of them, yes, some of them, no. Not yet. Like I know Charles Schwab Charles Schwab did it last year. So some of them, yes. And so we have this entry of Paytm. It started in August right now. It has, so some of them, yes, but not all right now.
Okay. Yeah, thank you all.
Yeah, we'll end with one last question. Mr. Sunny, you can unmute. Yeah, we can ask you.
I have a question. For the fixed income, you said 7.15%, right? So is it which bank is going to give this much interest rate?
This is the bond I was talking about, the RBI, and we said we will just check on the whether NRI, whether this rate is applicable for NRIs. And as far as the bank safety rate are concerned,
5.5.
yeah.
For domestic, NRI is still less.
Yeah, so for fixed deposits for NRIs, it will hover from around 5 or 5.5.
3 to 4.
Yeah, 3 to 5%
So
for fixed deposits.
Okay, for saving bonds, you said taxable, right? How much is the percentage for the taxes?
Added because I have to clarify from the broker whether 7.15 is applicable for NRI, because for domestic RBI will be giving, but for NRI like bank interest rate, there are different for NRE account, and for domestic account the rates are different. So even for RBI, we have to check it up whether these rates are applicable for NRIs.
Okay. So can you know what is difference between regular fixed deposits like the bank gives and what is a corporate fixed deposits? What is the difference between these two?
Yeah.
Yeah, corporates are for means bank FDs are normal bank, maybe for State Bank of India, HDFC or ICICI. Corporates are individual corporates, maybe Mahindra and Mahindra Finance, L&T, Bajaj. But we won't, as previously I have told, we won't recommend corporate FDs because in the last 3-4 years, there have been many scams in India where corporate FDs, they have taken FDs, but they are not returning. Leave about the interest rate. They are not even returning the principal. And that has happened with Unitech, JP Associate, Ansal Infra, Diwan Housing Finance, and ILNFS was not into domestic FDs. These 4 companies are there, so they have defaulted like anything. So we won't recommend you should go for corporate FDs. Go for either direct equities or NRE bank interest or government bonds.
One more last question. So let's say if I have property and I want to dispose that property and whatever the income comes, how will it be diversified through capital gain bonds, and what is the difference between secondary bonds and capital gain bonds? And can I diversify my my income, whatever property I dispose, can I put it in these two?
Well, see, suppose you dispose of the property and you have capital gain. Suppose you have the capital gain of 30 lakh Indian rupees. So either you have to pay tax on that capital gain, or you can deposit that in capital gain bonds. There are different capital gain bonds from Government of India, like REC capital gain bonds or whichever company. But their interest rates are like REC, it is I think 5%. But again, we have to check whether NRIs can invest that we can check it up, no problem. But that is to save the capital gain. Otherwise, you have to invest again. If you sell the property, again you have to buy another property within 1 year. But whether you can invest that capital gain in equities, that we have to speak to the chartered accountant, because that is a different asset class. To shift from property to equities, that we have to check it up. So,
What is secondary bonds?
pardon?
What is secondary bonds means?
Because you know, these are basically, you know, they are little different from the primary ones. Basically, you know, there are different kinds of them, like the dispersion bonds, the hydrogen bonds. I can send you a detailed write-up on this. Like if I explaining it will take a lot of time. I can send a detailed write-up on this to Kishore and he can forward it.
Okay, thank you.
I know we planned for 1 hour, but it took nearly 1.5, and it is already too late for Preeti and Manoj. It's 11:30.
Ramraj sir, can I just ask one last question?
Sure.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
This is Venkat here. Thanks for allowing me. You know, I have a DMAT account while I was in India with ICICI, and I have stocks, and you know, I was trading when I was in India. And I am here now, and I am a US citizen, and I still have that my ICICI trading account. I still do the trading. I just don't do that often. When I talked to ICICI, you know, a few years back, they were telling me that only, you know, people from Dubai and other countries are allowed to open, you know, NRI DMAT accounts. You know, I think you're saying now, like from people from US also can open the NRI DMAT accounts, or only it's, or are we not eligible to open the DMAT accounts?
We can open for you with SMC Global. This is not an issue. For ICICI Bank, you know, I can connect you with the person. Like if you're insistent on having a with ICICI Bank, then I can connect you with the right person in the DMAT team. He can help you out. But we can like SMC gives a exception that they can open a DMAT account for US clients. It's not
what I'm trying to find out is, are people from
so you know,
NRIs from US, are they eligible to open DMAT account in India?
Sorry, your voice was breaking.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
So my question is, are NRIs from US, are they eligible to open DMAT accounts in India?
Yes, with some brokers, yes. With some brokers, yes, you can.
Okay. And
we
just
can help you.
Okay, next question, like, you know, on the domestic, you know, trading accounts, long-term capital gain taxes are 10% usually, right? And is that the same for NRIs also, or is that different? Do you know by any chance?
It would be same.
Okay, thank you. So it would be great if you can just give that ICICI DMAT, whoever is the person, and if I can convert my existing one to maybe like NRI DMAT account, that would be great for me.
Yeah, I would like to clarify whether that DMAT account is domestic account yours, or it is an NRI account as on date.
Right now, it's a domestic account.
So I think you should immediately convert, because it is mandatory as per Government of India norms that within 6 months of your change of change of status, you have to report as per FATCA norms that now you are an NRI. That domestic account has to be converted to NRI.
Yeah, you know, I think I tried a couple of times.
In case you have a preference for some broker, and yeah.
I tried a couple of times with ICICI, but again, you know, they were not able to do that conversion. It took a long time for them. And finally, they came back a couple of times saying that signatures were not matching and all. And they suggested me, you know, continue like this, nothing will happen.
No, because see, they won't be in a problem. From taxation point, you will have problems, because as an NRI, you cannot have a domestic account because we are not opening domestic accounts for anybody. Otherwise, it's very easy for us. We can just open online. But because see, we don't want our clients to be in problems in the long run. Because if you consult your chartered accountant, he will also say, no, you should have an NRI account. Because 6 months grace period Government of India has given, you can report it and you can change the status. Maybe some charges, maybe the brokerage may vary, but that you say NRI that my chartered accountant has told me that I want to convert it. Otherwise, you can open an NRI account in different.
No, that's right.
broker.
I
because
think
why you should be in problem.
Yeah, I mean, I've been filing the tax returns also for the past several years in India also, and even my chartered accountant also, he logs in and all these gains and dividends, everything I'm reporting. But again, like you said, it will be better for me if I just convert that into NRI, a DMAT. I mean, I'm not tied to ICICI. If Motilal Oswal can help me, I will switch it. I have no problem. If you can help me, that would be great.
Will help you out opening the NRI account because though it is a bit complicated from domestic account, but we advise our clients for the safety and the benefit of the client that NRI should open an NRI account because we don't want our clients to be in a problem in the long run from taxation point because dual taxation is there. And if you don't have an NRI account, because that income will be in India, and your status is NRI, so why to have hassles with the income tax department?
Yeah, that's true.
You should have.
Thank you.
Okay, and if you have a preference for some broker and that broker doesn't open the NRI NRO, you can open it in your immediate family member's name. Like I have helped a lot of my clients in London and in US to open in their immediate family member's name, and that's how they're trading. The family member should be in India, actually. It's an Indian account.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
I think we are good, Preeti. So thanks for answering all the questions which our members got.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks everybody.
Yeah, and we'll look forward for the documentation on the taxes. I know the taxes is totally a different topic.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thanks again. Thank you
Thanks.
all. Have a great rest of the weekend.
Meeting बंद करने दो.
कितने participants थे?
7